every kind, which went and sold all that he had, and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net, that was cast into the sea, and gathered of every kind, which, when it was full, they drew to shore, and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angel shall come forth, and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Jesus saith unto them, Have ye understood all these things? They say unto him, Yea, Lord. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old.
I know we've been taught to keep our enemies close, but you got your enemies too close for comfort. They getting comfortable being blessing blockers, short stoppers, and pocket watchers. They watching you. They watching your pockets, watching your blessings, trying to short stop it. They giving the enemy the update on you. They got the drop on your blessing. And that's why God ain't dropped them blessings through. Get them enemies from around you, man. They hating on you. They never click like. They never comment. They never support shit you got going on. They'll support a total stranger before they support you, but they be all up in your face. Watch them blessing blockers. Watch them short stoppers. Watch them pocket watchers, because they show watching you, and you got them too close, and the blessing can't land because the landing script ain't clear. The plane flying in the air ready to deliver your blessings. Get them blessing blockers from around you so God can drop it like I know.
Hey, Shalom. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'arakah Kodash. Citations and strength and endurance, the Lord's chosen, the election, the bride, the house of David. And the Lord, He's separating us. He's getting us away from the multitudes, and that's what it means to be a soldier. A soldier goes in the word solo, which means alone, being solitary. And you're only going to be able to do that and separate yourself unless you have the Holy Spirit and you have the Lord with you. You know what I'm saying? Which gives you the strength to do that. Because a lot of people, they're not capable of separating themselves. Because we're a separate people. And like the brother, he did a video on the Israel of power, the Israel of God. That's what we are. We're the Israel of God. Not all Israels of Israel, because only the Israel of power is the ones that have the spiritual power right now in these bodies, that have a new heart of flesh. That's the Israel the Lord's dealing with and supping with. Lord's supping with us because we're allowing the Lord into our hearts. You see? So the day star it's arised in our heart, and that's why these things are coming out of our mouth and not everybody's mouth, because a lot of guys' sins haven't been purged. When you go to Isaiah, I'm pretty sure it was Isaiah, but he basically told the Lord, how can I speak to this people? You know, I dwell amongst a people of unclean tongue. And the Lord put that coal from the altar upon Isaiah's mouth, upon his tongue, and then he said, go and speak, because he was purged. He was now clean. 2 Peter 1:19, we have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, right? So going into take heed, that means you're listening, you're obeying. Ecclesiastes 6 and 13, separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends, right? And you're going to know the Lord's disciples by the love, and you're only going to have that love by having a new heart. So we're taking heed to each other, we're listening to each other, we're following the spirit which is upon each and every one of us, the few of us. So we're separating ourselves from our enemies. We're cutting off things that offend. Lord said, if your eye offend you, cut it off. If your hand offend you, cut it off. Because they're not really, these false prophets and brethren, they're really not a part of the body of the Lord. So you have to cut them off. You have to separate from these enemies of the cross, enemies of Yahushua. It says, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in a dark place. That's what we are, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. So the Lord, he took a coal from off the altar, and then he was able to speak. Isaiah chapter 6. And I was just meditating earlier, and I'm honored to do this work. I'm honored to stand up and give myself wholly unto the doctrine of Yahushua and defend it from all these guys that are trying to pollute it and defile it with the doctrines of the world, the many broad gates, such as the Roman Catholic Church. And there's just so much heresies and deception in these last days, man, where if you're not grounded and rooted, you're going to get taken away by it and by them having itching ears and stuff. Isaiah chapter 6 and verse 5. Then said I, this is Isaiah, when the Lord, when he saw the Lord came unto him. I saw verse 1. It says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the seraphims, each one had 6 wings, with twain he covered his face. And that's heavy, because you can't see the angel's face. So it's like us as the messengers, and you don't have to see our face. What you need to see and hear is the voice of the Lord, is the word of the Lord, man. You see, with twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain did he fly. And one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy, holy is Yahweh of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the posts of the door moved at the voice of him that cried, and the house was filled with smoke. Then said I, this is Isaiah, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken from the tongues from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thy iniquity is taken away. See, the Lord didn't give him a new body, bro. The Lord just gave him the word that your iniquity was taken away. It says, thy iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. Also I heard the voice of Yahweh saying, whom shall I send? And who will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. So Lord, he sent us just as he sent Isaiah, because we have the strength and the ability, the capability of separating ourselves, getting away from the masses and the multitudes. And because the way of the multitudes and the crowds is they're trying to be accepted. They want to be in the crowd. They want to be heard. So they speak of the world. They all talk about the same thing, just gossip and shit. Celebrities and famous people, and we're people that are rich and have all the money. Like I did that video. You go to Ecclesiastes 13. When a rich man speaks, everyone listens to what people have, the riches of the world. But when a poor man speaks, they say, who is this? So they don't know Yahushua. They don't understand the poor man's wisdom, which is really the true riches. 2 Corinthians 6 and verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate. And I'm going to get the word for separate.
Strong's G 873. Afaridzo. Afaridzo.
Says to mark off from others by boundaries. Whew. To limit. Says in a good sense, to a point set apart for some purpose, right? So like we're on our purpose. We have a purpose. The definition of purpose is a motive, an intention, the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. And you know, you'll have certain people which, you know, they might try to come back into your life, or, you know, whatever, you know. But like, we're so heavy on our purpose. We're like, if someone shows us signs of like that they're not really like all for the Lord, then like we can't befriend them, we can't be close to them. So this is another reason why we're so separated, because people's intentions, right, they're not really on their purpose. So it's really, we have really no purpose to be around a lot of people, because a lot of people are faking it, and they're actors and they're mockers and they're just hypocrites, man. They're not really real about this. So as shit is getting realer and realer, you don't want those people to be around you, because they're apt to like really Satan enter into them, like Judas Iscariot, you know, and sell out and get weak, you know. So you don't want to be around them when they fucking self-destruct, you know what I'm saying, and bring you down with them. 2 Corinthians 6:18, and will be a father unto you, ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty. So it's beautiful being separated unto the Lord, you know. I find peace in meditating and pondering and just thinking upon the Lord and his righteousness and his thoughts, because his thoughts are higher than the thoughts of the world and man and camps and shit. So us as a sheep that are really following the voice of the Lord, there's not much sheep, bro. Like it as it was, and it's heavy because like I've been seeing the name Noah as of lately. I've been seeing the name Noah lately, and you know, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the end. And we symbolize Noah's Ark. Those of us that are few that are actually like listening to exactly what the Lord is saying to do, and we're doing it. We're doing exactly what He said to do. We don't have a new body. We have a new song. We have to put a new song in our mouth, which no one else can sing, because the only reason our people sing is for fucking money. It's for a record deal. You know what I'm saying? And to sell their soul to Satan. So the thing that's so special about this new song is that it's not being sang or preached for money. That's the main thing. It's not being sung for tithes. It's not being sung for validation of the world, or, you know, to get something from this world, or to you know what I'm saying, for our own pleasure. We're pleasing the Lord, which is a spirit, and those that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and truth, which the spirit goes into the new heart, the mind. Matthew 25:31, the judgment says, then when the Son of Man, right, man carries a seed, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate heavy them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats, right? And there's many goats, there's many greats out there. He shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Beautiful. So this is what we're desiring and looking forward to hearing from the Lord, to be on the right side of the Lord, you know. And again, like the brother did a powerful video going into how you had two male factors that was next to Yahushua, one on the right, one on the left. The one on the right, he understood that he was suffering for his sins and he was worthy. He was reaping. What's the word, man? He deserved that. He understood he deserved that punishment. You know, he did sin. He did, you know, but he understood who Yahushua was, and he said, Lord, remember me. And he said, you'll be with me in paradise. But the guy on the left, he was mocking and talking shit, and, you know, like, he didn't have that heart, that mind of love and like repentance. You know what I'm saying? He didn't humble himself. He didn't really learn his lesson. So he did not get the message from the Lord saying, you shall be with me in paradise. So it's a special thing that we've been separated for this specified task. And we're very, when you really separate, you see the bigger picture. You see where the multitudes and where everyone's going towards, which is nothing good. They're all leading towards death. The blind leading the blind, they shall both fall off the cliff, fall into a ditch. That's what's happening. So once you separate yourself from everybody in camps, then you see the bigger picture. And you see that like a lot of guys ain't really real about this. Like the guys just put on an act for a crowd. Guys are like just actors and stage performers. Like the only reason they're saying and doing what they're doing is just to be seen of men, but it's not really for the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Luke 6 and verse 22, blessed are ye when men shall hate you. Right, not when men shall love you, but when men shall hate you. It says, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. So we're going through the same thing of what the prophets went through in the past. Like they was thrown into jail. They was killed. Their words wasn't heard. Everyone was telling them to shut up. They didn't want to hear them because it's like we're crashing the party. Like everyone's having a good time. Just like when Babylon fell, there was like they were like partying. They were drinking out of the vessels of Israel. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when you had that hand right on the wall, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin, which is thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians, and it's going to fall. And Daniel interpreted it for him. And the next night it did, that very night it fell. So we're in the time of the wicked falling, man. And while everyone's having a good old time and partying and, living their best life and, that prosperity, and making money and merchandise off his truth and, getting rich and shit, like, we're basically crashing the party and bringing the bad news, because the gospel is only good news for the poor and the meek, those that have kept their integrity and haven't sold out and haven't took the easy way out, haven't took the broad gate. This is a very narrow path, and it's only for the chosen ones to get through. Like when you think of like a narrow path, right? It's very tiny, it's very tight. So that if someone's fat or has a lot of baggage or has a lot of money or has a lot of possessions and shit, they're not going to be willing to let that shit go and give that shit and sacrifice that shit to enter in. So that's what's happening now as well. Acts 13. And 2, as they ministered to the Lord and fasted, the Holy Ghost said, separate me, Barnabas and Saul, for the work whereunto I have called them. You see, so Lord, it's not just a one-time thing. Like, there's been time and time again with Lord, he'll separate certain men to do a specified task that only they can do. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, that's heavy. Like, you had Moses, Aaron, here in this verse, Barnabas and Saul, and when they had fasted and prayed and laid their hands on them, they sent them away. So they got sent away. And we've been sent away. So it's like in the spirit, you've been deployed off to war. And that's why, we're just not of this world, man. We're in this world, but we're not of the world. And our words are not heard by the world. I'm gonna say that again. Our words are not heard by the world. They're turned off. Just like if we hear something mad annoying and something of the world, we turn that shit off. We don't want to listen about shit of the world, because that's all dead. And if you love the world, love the Father is not in you. We don't love the world. Jeremiah 15 and verse 17. Verse 16 says, thy words were found, and I did eat them. Right? And this all is fulfilled in Yahushua when the Lord kept that last Passover with his disciples. He said, take, eat. This is my meat. This is my flesh, which is given for you. Take the wine, drink. This is my blood, which is shed for you. Do in remembrance of me. You see? So that's what we're doing. We're devouring wisdom. As it's written in Ecclesiastes or Ezra's in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiastes 36 and 18 says, the belly devoureth all meats, yet is one meat better than another, right? And the meat that's better than the other is the meat of Yahushua, which the world doesn't understand. That's why Yahushua said, I have meat ye know not of, which is to finish the Father's will, to complete it. This world and the way the world makes it seem the Lord is like unfulfilled. Like they only go halfway, they only get you so far, but they don't go all the way. You have to go all out for the Lord to please him and to be worthy of him. And that's why a lot of guys, they don't get really persecuted or hated, or their life isn't in danger, because they're of the world, so the world actually loves them, you see? And they're accepted of the world. 2 Ezra 8 and verse 3, there be many created, but few shall be saved. So answered I and said, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding, and devour wisdom. So that's what we were doing. We're consuming these words of the Lord. It says, thy words were found, and I did eat them, and thy word was unto me the joy and rejoicing of mine heart. Not a new body. It's all about the heart. It's all about the mind. It's all about the inside. For I am called by thy name, O Yahweh God of hosts. I sat not in the assembly of mockers, nor rejoiced. I sat alone because of thy hand. Right? That's filled me with indignation, right? Which is righteous anger. And the hand of the Lord is upon us. We're in the hand of the Lord. Numbers 16 and verse 19. And Korah gathered all the congregation. This is the famous, these guys of the world, against them unto the door of the tabernacle of congregation. And the glory of Yahweh appeared unto all the congregation. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, right, the Lord didn't speak to Korah and Dathan. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron, just like the Lord spoke, speaking to us right now. Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment, right? So once the elect come out of these camps and come out of the docile, lukewarm, old covenant, stony heart mindset, and they come into the new covenant, the new mind, and renew your mind, repentant, then he's going to consume the wicked. Because the Lord's a righteous judge. He's not going to judge the righteous with the wicked. You have to set the Lord, just like we read in Matthew 25, the Lord's going to separate the goats from the sheep. And once the elect are sealed in their foreheads, then the four angels are going to unloose those four winds of that destruction. And they're all going to be consumed in a moment. In 1 hour, all the great riches are going to come to nothing. Verse 26, and he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs. You see? Don't even touch it. Don't even come near it, lest ye be consumed in all their sins heavy. So they gat up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and sons and little children. And Moses said, Hereby ye shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. And that's why Yahushua said, go to the book of John. John 5:17, it says, but Yahushua answered them, my Father worketh hitherto, and I work. Right? So the Lord is doing a mighty work right now. And we're employed by Yahushua. You see? Therefore the Jews sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Sabbath, but said also that God was his Father, making himself equal with God. So guys are hating us too, because we're saying that we also have God as our Father. We're sons of God. Just as Yahushua was a son of God, we're a son of God. You see? We're sons of that power. We have spiritual power. So that's why they're offended in that too. Then answered Yahushua and said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. Right, so same with us. We're not doing nothing of ourselves. We're just doing what we've seen Yahweh and Yahushua do. We're following their examples. We're mimicking them, you know. We mirror them. It says, for what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. Beautiful. For the Father loveth the Son, and showeth him all things that himself doeth. And he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel. So this is where they get the Marvel heroes from, superpower heroes from. And we're doing the work of the Lord sincerely, but a lot of guys are doing it deceitfully. And you guys are cursed for that. You're cursed for that. And there's no middle ground. We're not going to trim our way to seek love and, oh, it's maybe, I don't know, I think. No, it's either you're doing the work of the Lord sincerely and from the new heart, out of love, which is a fulfillment of the law, or you're doing it deceitfully and you're just putting on an act, and you don't really got love for the Lord or the brethren or our people at all. That's why you do it for merchandise. You make money off of it, just like these fucking false ass prophets of these mega churches and shit. All praises, glory, honor, and fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushua B'Hakak Wadash Baba Ball and Nate Shalom.